I made it. Better late than never. Isn't that what everybody says? Good to be here. Welcome to Wednesday Night Live. 25 minutes late, but we're here. And we'll be streaming till 5 because then I have to run to the next thing. Sorry I was late. I was out shooting and got stuck in some traffic on the way back. But it's all good now because here we are. So welcome, everybody. If you haven't been here before, welcome. Wednesday night is all about question and answer. So if you have questions about videos I put out or about what camera, lens, drone, stuff like that, this is the place to ask it. And we can actually have a back and forth conversation about it. Because most of the time when people ask me something in the comments, I will answer. It's been a bit since I've caught up on the comments, but I will answer, but I will never see another reply from there. So this is all about chatting back and forth about whatever you might have questions about. I had an insanely busy week. It was incredible, and you will be seeing lots of that coming in the next few weeks as things roll out. But yeah, been pretty incredible. Got to do some borderline insane things. One of which I might show you here in a minute. Oh, I can't show you that. Yeah, anyway, it's been awesome. So I will show you one of the things we did that I did this last week, but I don't have the video ready for some of the other stuff that I did that was insane and was the one and only time in my life that I've ever had vertigo, like where you feel like you lose all sense of balance. So and it was not a good location to have that happen. So anyway, thanks for being patient, hanging out here while I got the chat set up or I got the stream set up, and got going, even though I'm extremely late. But hope y'all are doing well. So I know I saw Alaska VFX is here. That's great. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. One Vision Ariel, nice to see you. Darlene, Brian, good to see you. Glad you're here and glad I'm here. Let's see, Richard Black, good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well. So there are a couple of things I want to talk about. You probably saw Sony released a new lens. It's very cool. I've been testing the 18-300 from Tamron. It's very, very, it's a very capable lens. It has a few little quirks. The video on that will be coming soon as I can edit it. And then, let's see, what else? There was something else. That, I've been testing that. Oh, Deity. If you didn't see, Deity released, oh, it's upstairs. Deity released their new pocket wireless system. And I did work with them to shoot a bunch of promo stuff for them. And then they referred to me as old in one of the videos. And I'm not saying that I'm not upset about it. Don't think that I'm upset about it. I'm not. I thought it was funny. And I'm probably going to rib them about it a little bit. Because they did ask me if I was okay with it before they released the video. And I said, yeah, I'm fine. Because I got lots of gray hair. I can still out-hike. I would bet that I could out-hike 90-something% of the people who are half my age. So I'm okay with it. But I'm gonna rib them about saying I'm old. One video said I was old. And one video said I was a seasoned videographer. So what can you do? Anyway, cool little product. Video will be coming on that pretty soon too. And yeah, so I saw Paul Feinberg joined us. Nice. Hope you're doing well, Paul. I'm going to stop here at 5 o'clock my time. Should be 9 o'clock your time. And then you can jump on your stream. Big Water UAV. That's okay, Big Water UAV. We all jumped in late because I didn't get the stream started until 4:20 something. So, because I got home late. So, yeah. Let's see. Fly Zone Drones. How you doing, man? Hope you're doing well. True part-bound goat. Yeah. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, you know from experience. You've been with me on a few different excursions. So, let's see. Dustin, you have a question about the last part of the live stream intro. How could you set a time-lapse video with the Skydio 2 like my sunset clip, or is that done post-edit? So that was done. I mean, you could do it with a Skydio. You'd essentially put it up and have it just sit there and film and then speed the process up, speed the video up, and that would create a sort of time-lapse. That I did with my A7 III sitting on top of a mountain rock thing, looking over the inlet there, and then I did individual photos on a timer with an intervalometer, and then I edited all those photos in Lightroom, and then exported them, put them in Final Cut, and created a time lapse. It's a lot of work to do it that way. The results are always spectacular. They're just, you get so much more information doing it with photos, and so much more detail, and so much more leeway when it comes to editing, and yeah, so it makes it nicer that way. The cheater way is to put a drone up in the air, just record, 20, 30, 40 minutes of video, however long it takes, and then speed that up in post considerably. And you can do that with the Skydio. The only trouble with drones is they tend to, even though they're pretty stable, they tend to move just a little bit, just enough that you can kind of see things moving around, so you end up having to do some stabilization in post with that. And you can still get good results. I guess it takes post work just like the other one does, and just a little different post work. So let's see. Alaska VFX Filmer. Did anyone else get the DJI release tease notification with nothing but a picture of a recording button? Well, yeah, I got it. There was one notification I got, or I think it was on Instagram where they posted it. It was 3 little rectangles with 3 different symbols or lights or something on them. So we know they're getting ready to release probably the Action 2. We know they're getting ready to release the Mavic 3. And a little while back, and I think recently somebody posted something about a Pro camera. There's photos on Twitter about from that account that I can't remember the name of. Not a C to live, but the other guy. Anyway, so we know they have products coming. I'll have to see what they are. or what, when they get released, how they get released, and all that. So yeah, it's gonna be exciting. Probably also means it's gonna be expensive, like depending on what they are and what they cost. But yeah, hopefully, I would be thrilled if they release the Mavic 3 soon, because I don't know. I'm excited about the drone. I think it's going to be fantastic. I'm just very, very excited. So yeah, Lon, exactly. The cinema camera, pro camera, cinema camera kind of thing. The Action 2, Osmo 2, whatever they're going to call it, and the Mavic 3, 3 Pro, Pro 3, whatever they're going to call that one. Those are all coming. So I think each of those pictures represented a, one of those things. Let's see. Problem with Skydio will not fly in low light, and you absolutely hate the drone for that reason. Yeah, Dustin, that is an issue. Now, I've flown mine 15 minutes before sunrise and 15 minutes after sunset. So it will fly in low-ish light. It just depends on how fast your light disappears after the sun sets. Up here, it lasts for quite a while because our sun sets at a very low angle, or not a steep angle. Like the closer you get to the equator, the more steep the sun goes down. It means the faster you lose the light. So you might be surprised at what you're able to do. And go out and try it. See what happens. You'll figure out, what works and what doesn't work, and then you can adjust and go from there. I will say, I've gone out and shot a lot of stuff that didn't work. I've gone out and shot sunset time lapses that didn't work. I've gone out in the middle of the night a couple of times and shot astro stuff, star stuff that didn't work. One of those times was a 3-mile hike across a frozen lake in the middle of the night in the winter, and none of that turned out. So, but each one of those times, I learned a valuable lesson. Go prepared, and maybe do a little more research first. But I also learned things that didn't work, and then the next time I adjusted them, and other stuff worked. So yeah, I'd say try it, see what happens, and then go from there. So let's see. Hey, Shutter Speed, nice to see you. And I thought somebody else asked a question. Oh, there we go. On the Water Co. You said your Air 2S goes into attitude mode when flying in low light areas. Any way to avoid that? So the Air 2S will go into attitude mode anytime it doesn't have good, strong GPS. Is there anything overhead? Like, are you flying under a roof or in a cave or in a glacier ice cave, in my case? Because anytime you fly into those areas, it will lose GPS lock and go into attitude mode. I was just doing that not too long ago. That was one of the videos I'd like to show you, but I can't because I haven't had a time to process it yet. But I was flying the Air 2S through a glacier ice cave, and every time it loses GPS. Now, the same thing happens anytime I've flown it indoors in a warehouse or something like that. It won't have GPS lock. So that's it's not, at least in my case, it's never been about the low light areas. It's always just been about the fact that then GPS signal gets blocked by a roof or something. So hopefully, maybe that helps you. Let me know if it doesn't. Hi, Kevin. Agent J, nice to see you. So, yeah. Oh, so yeah, the Tamron 18-300 review is coming soon. I shot everything. I just need to edit it together. It has the most ridiculously close focus distance I think I've ever seen. I literally took pictures of grass that was that far away from the lens. And I had to move the lens back because it was shadowing the grass. It was just kind of mind-blowing. And at the telephoto end, it's like maybe 2.5 feet away. But at that point, you're at 300 millimeters. The background is just nothing but this gradient of bokeh. It's kind of cool. So I'm impressed with the lens. Has some downsides. There are not many, but there's a couple. But overall, the lens is a pretty solid performer, and it's inexpensive. It's sort of inexpensive at $700. But for what you get, I feel like it's a great lens for what you get. So stay tuned. Review on that's coming, and it's pretty dang cool, if I do say so myself. Also because it's cold up here now. It's winter, or nearly winter. let's see. On the water coat, an Amazon warehouse. Yeah, exactly. So you absolutely will lose GPS anytime you go indoors. And it's just never, like I've been playing. And so the trick for that on the water coat, if I should put a video together about this. In fact, I might. If you're gonna fly your drone indoors and you know, DJI limits your drone if you don't have GPS signal, like it limits at height and as far away from you as you can go. It limits that. If you want to overcome that, because assuming Amazon warehouse has got to be huge, go outside, get GPS lock. As soon as it says your home point has been recorded, then you can walk the drone inside, take off, and fly as far as you need to and as high as you need to without any limits. You will still go back into ADI mode, but you won't have that limit because it will have had a GPS lock. So FYI. That would actually be a good video. I should do that video. Thank you, FlyZone. I think it'll be exciting. And I might be headed back to your neck of the woods here in the next few weeks. I'm waiting to hear. But I would love to do a meetup and get together if we can. So, no promises, but maybe. Paul Feinberg. I can't wait till I get the hands on the 35 to 150 f2.2 to 2.8. Yeah, I need to talk to them about that. I would like to know if I'm going to be on the list for that one because I would really like to try that lens. I don't think it's a lens I would buy because I've already got all of that covered, but it seems like a really solid lens, and I would like to try that. The other thing is I got to shoot with a 24 to 105 f4 Sony. That's a pretty solid all-in-one lens for full frame. I enjoyed shooting with it a lot more, so much to the point that I was like, I don't know, I might try and pick one of those up. It was pretty sweet. There are times I love shooting full frame, and I prefer to shoot full frame, and there are times where I'm like, I wish I could just do just one lens, like not take the 17 to 28 and another 70 to 180 or whatever other lens, just because having a camera body and a lens is... it just, you know, it's so nice for running gun stuff, and that lens was impressive. So let's see. Alaska VFX. Did I catch the Aurora the other night? I did not, and I'm super bummed about that. I had a guest up here that I was really hoping to show the Aurora, and we totally missed it. Partly because both he and I were wiped out. We'd been down in Valdez for a day. We left my house at 4 in the morning, drove to Valdez, went straight to the airport, got on a helicopter, and did all kinds of insane stuff for the whole entire day, spent the night, and then got up and drove back. So we were both pretty wiped out. But I heard it was a spectacular Aurora show, and I'm just like, what the heck? Why do I keep missing these things? Hopefully, yeah. I think life is calming. I keep saying this. I think life is calming down for me, which means more consistent videos for you, more consistent live streams maybe, and also the chance to go out and chase the Aurora. And I am going to get the Aurora this year, and I'm going to make a video about going to shoot the Aurora and tips and tricks on how to shoot it, and also why the 24mm G Master is such a fantastic low light lens. You just have to time it right with the Aurora. I think Brian Peterson's going to go with me, so that'll be fun. He's been in a video before, also in the middle of the night, when we went out to a glacier in the middle of the night to shoot a whole video with the A7III in moonlight and firelight, and it was very cool. It was very cool. It was very cold as well, which is weird. We're sitting in the middle of a glacier in an ice cave, and it was cold. I don't know. Yeah, probably could have thought that through, but, you know, whatever. Agent J, any recommendations on a small motorized slider for videos for homes and a few other stuff? Yeah, Agent J, there's really only two that I've messed with that I really, really like that are small and inexpensive, because let's face it, if you want the best, then you need to spend multiple thousands of dollars. And most of us don't want to spend multiple thousands of dollars if we don't have to. So I love the Shark Slider Nano from iFootage. Fantastic, and hands down, my favorite slider I've ever used for a small motorized slider. It's great. They really thought through things, and I've got a review on my channel. But If that is hard to come by, which it has been hard to come by, like a lot of things are hard to come by right now, the second one that I really do like is, and I have used, is the Zpon motorized slider, the Zpon 2 micro slider, Zpon Micro 2, I think is what it's called. And there's a motorized version of it. And that one is also very good. It has a few quirks, but it works well, and it's a really solid slider. So those are the two that I recommend. Let's see. Wait, what did I miss? Yeah, taking the 28 to 200 around is pretty nice. Oh, just like it as an all-in-one lens? Yeah. And that's where I'm kind of like, man, I'm realizing more and more I need to get an all-in-one lens that I don't, because I keep going out and I keep saying I'm not taking two drones, I'm not taking two cameras, or I'm not taking a camera with multiple lenses. I'm going to pare down all my stuff. And then I keep getting a new lens to review, or a camera, or a new drone comes on the market like the Air 2S, and so then I had to I got to compare the 2 Pro and the Air 2S and the Mini 2 and the Air 2, and just like eventually I'll pare it down and I'll have one camera, one lens, one drone, and that'll be it. I can dream, right? We can dream? Sure. Let's see. What is the best lens for videos on a Sony A7 III? So one, it depends on what you're doing. If you just want to buy one lens, that's a great lens for just like lots of different things. The 28 to 200 from Tamron is great. It's affordable, and it's really solid performance. If you need to have lens-based stabilization, you want a little wider, like 24 millimeters, then I'd say the Sony 24 to 105 f4 is a great lens. Yeah. So, but it depends on what you're doing, Juan. So let me know what you're doing, and I'll point you in a better right direction or whatever. Hey, Richmond. No worries, man. I got started late, like 4:20, because I didn't get home till 4:20, 4:15. So you're not as late as you think you are. And I didn't pre-schedule the stream, which is also on me. So let's see. Darlene, you asked, do you suggest having a small light on your drone for flying at night? Just ordered the Mini 2 to take with me to Lithuania. Okay. So I don't know the rules in Lithuania. You definitely want to look it up beforehand and make sure, everything's cool. But in the United States, if you fly a drone at night, you must have a strobe on it that's visible for 3 nautical miles. There are lots of them. They're fairly inexpensive on Amazon, but you definitely have to put a white strobe on your drone that's visible for 3 nautical miles. It is required in the United States, and it's safe. It's safer. One, it helps you find the drone, and believe it or not, flying at night is way more difficult than you might think. Practice a little bit if you can, because finding your drone and then figuring out where you need to go versus where you've been, making sure you don't hit anything, it's different than flying during the day, and being able to orient yourself and know where you are, know where you're going, know where you got to do to get back is key. Yeah, the Firehouse ones, Adrian, those are great. I've got a set of those. I've also got the LumeCube one, which is also great. But yeah. Headed to Iceland. Can you get good Aurora footage on an iPhone? Brown and beachy. So, believe it or not, the iPhone 13, the iPhone 12, and even a little bit the iPhone 11 do pretty solidly in low light for photos. Kind of shockingly so. For video, it's a lot more difficult. You probably get something, but not great. But something. But yeah, the iPhone, if you've got like one of the last 2 or maybe even 3 years, if your iPhone's like 2 or 3 generations, within the last 2, 11, 12, or 13, then you can get some pretty solid photos in low light. Use a tripod if you can, so the phone stays perfectly still. Really helps it out. But yeah. Oh, nice, Alaska VFX. Yeah, I saw some pictures and I was like, dang it. Looked like it was incredible. Lon, you second the Firehouse Arc 4 lights? Yeah, the Firehouse ones they're pretty sweet. And they're tiny. They're so tiny and so lightweight. It's insane. Jake Sloan, you couldn't get rid of the 24mm 1.4. Sorry, LOL. Yeah, it's true. Especially if I'm going out to shoot at night. That is going to be the lens I take with me because that's such a great low light lens. FC2000, nice. Let's see, Mavic 3, one drone to rule them all. Exactly, Lon. One drone to rule them all. I'm really excited. I didn't think I'd be as excited about the Mavic 3, especially with the Air 2S having a 1-inch sensor, but I think that Micro Four Thirds sensor is going to be I think it's going to be something. That, and if it does have 46 minutes of flight time, which realistically, let's be honest, is probably more like 40 minutes, but still, 40 minutes is double the Mavic 2 Pro. That's a lot. Like, you notice the difference when you go from 20 minutes to 30 minutes. It's a big difference. But to double it to 40 minutes, that's a lot of flight time. So, that'd be pretty sweet. There we go, Brian. I'll pare down to one lens and pile everything else and the heavy ones in your backpack. Hey, Harrison Family Vlogs. How you doing? And I don't know how to say your name. KSA, whatever that it means. Cool. 420. Nice. 24 1.4, second favorite, 17 to 28. Yeah, I use the 17 to 28. If you're doing handheld like face talking stuff, the 17 to 28 is a great lens. The 24mm is fantastic. Pretty low. Oh, nice, Harrison. Family Vlogs. Awesome. I have not talked about the Sony A7 IV yet. The rumor is it's going to be announced the end of this month, in the next couple weeks. I really hope so, because I'm excited about that camera too. So basically, if the Mavic 3 comes out, the A7 IV, and then Apple announces their like M1X Pro 16-inch MacBook Pro kind of thing, it's going to be an expensive month. Very, very expensive. I need to sell some stuff. Yeah, I'm going to need to sell some stuff. One drone to rule them all, and the sky to outfly them. Yeah, exactly. SkyWest Studios, you have the 16 to 35 Lumix on a Panasonic S5, and it's big. You use it for real estate videos and photos. That's a good combo. Yeah, if you're doing anything with real estate, you definitely want a really nice wide lens, like a really wide lens. For me, when I'm doing real estate, if I can, I like 15 millimeters. 14 is good. I've yet to try the 14 millimeter G lens or GM lens on real estate, but I want to. Yeah, so. Alex, your A7 III is on its last legs. Oh man, I'm sorry. The A7 III it's still a great camera, unless it's on its last legs, which I totally get. But yeah, the A7 IV is, everything I've seen says the end of this month. So hopefully it's the end of this month. And they're saying 4K 60, but kind of cropped in, which I'm not surprised. 33 megapixel sensor for the sensor. And no word yet on whether or not it's like 10-bit 422 in 4K or something like that, but that would be spectacular. I think it's going to be a great beginner, not beginner camera, but a great hybrid camera. It's gonna, I feel like it's gonna be like a baby A1 is what I think. And speaking of which, like, would you all want to see me do an A1 review? I don't feel like that's an expensive camera. I don't feel like a lot of people are really interested in it. I've used one a few times. It's a fantastic camera. I could, if it had a flip out screen, then I'd be way more tempted to be like, okay, I'm going to sell everything I own and buy one because it's a great camera. It's just expensive. So I'm hoping that's where I guess I'm hoping the A7 IV is like a baby A1. Because it'll be a lot less expensive, but you still get that same kind of really great photo quality, really great video, in a much cheaper body. So, Lon, you're having a brain freeze. 5.4K timeline, trying to bring in a 4K clip. Down res of 5.4 or up res of 4K. Honestly, Lon, I think you could up-res to 4K and get away with it, but I always down-res my 5.4K stuff to 4K. I post all my videos in 4K on YouTube, and so, like, but I shoot everything in the highest possible resolution, like GoPro in 9, and I have a GoPro 10 now. Just, maybe we'll talk about that, and maybe I'll do a video on it. And then the Air 2S I shoot in, the highest resolution. Yeah, Paul, exactly. I really want to try it. I'm a little scared to try it because I'm afraid I might really like it. But the one caveat for that is that no way to put ND filters on the front makes it kind of a deal killer for me. Yeah, so. Leanne asks if I am affected by earthquakes. We are. We are generally affected a lot by earthquakes. Alaska is actually one of the most seismically active states in the United States. We usually get about 50,000 something earthquakes a year. Most of those are like 2 something to 4 something. Occasionally we get larger ones. A couple years ago we had a 7.1. Getting the 5, 6 range a lot. Earlier this year we had an 8 point something, way out, like 800 miles away, so it didn't really affect us, but yeah, we have a lot of earthquakes. Potato soup. Not sure if I talked about this already, but what are my thoughts on the DJI Mini 3? Should I wait or get the Mini 2 now? Oh. So the problem is potato soup. They're coming out with the Mavic 3 soon. That's been basically all but confirmed by all the leaks. I don't know if they're going to launch a Mini 3 before the end of this year. The Mini 2 is great. It's a fantastic drone. I love it. It's really nice for running around with because it's so small and light, but it's pretty capable. Handles a lot of conditions. The Mini 3, I just have seen nothing. No leaks, no rumors, no nothing on the Mini 3. So my guess is if they're going to get it out, it's going to be around Christmas time because they'll want to catch all that Christmas sales. People buying stuff for Christmas. So the Mini 3 probably will have some sort of obstacle avoidance because Autel just released their little tiny drone with obstacle avoidance. But yeah, who knows? We all thought the Mavic 3 was going to come out when Autel announced the Evo 2 because, DJI has to release something to keep up, and that's been a year now, and they haven't released anything. So yeah. Joan Works, good night from Trinidad. Good night. I hope you're doing well. All right, Paul. We'll see you in a bit. Richmond Areas would love to see it, but not if I have to purchase it with my own money. No, Richmond, I would rent one. There's a camera shop here that I rent gear from regularly when I need more gear than I have, and so I've rented theirs a few times. They keep it in really good shape, and it's a nice camera. So okay, I'll see what I can do. Sky Studio West cropping to 4K is nice. Closer look. Zoom capability. Yeah, that's partly why I shoot in higher resolutions, because then I can crop in without really losing resolution. But I'll be honest, like GoPro 5.3K on the 9 and the 10, it does have a little more detail, but it's not like the Air 2S clearly has more detail than the Air 2 or other 4K drones. I don't see the same difference with the GoPro. And I know it's a difference in sensor size, 1 inch versus whatever size, 1/7, 1/7 or something like that, whatever GoPro's using. But yeah, I do like being able to crop in a little bit and still keep full resolution. Darlene, so Lume Cube is good. It is a good strobe. It's a little bigger, but it's a good strobe. The other one that most people use, and I've got one too, it's excellent, is the Firehouse. So look up the Firehouse ARC, A-R-C. It's a great strobe. Skywest Mini 2 is great. I agree. Adrian, you make a good point. Get the Mini 2 and start, get flying, learn how to fly. I agree. That's actually a great point. Just get the Mini 2. It's a great drone. Start flying it. Have fun. Enjoy it. Upgrade when the Mini 4 comes out next year sometime. The Mini 2 will be a super solid drone for quite a while. And definitely get the Fly more combo. Alex Yum, any news on the Sony AirPeak? It's pre-ordering in Japan. It's not pre-ordering here yet. It's going to be 10 grand without camera. So it's going to be an expensive drone. It's a pro-level drone. Not something you buy as a hobbyist or somebody who just wants to mess around. You'd only buy that drone if you like have significant amounts of business going through that you need, high-end drone work for. So yeah. I'm very curious to see because this pro camera coming out, I'm really curious to see if DJI is going to release Inspire 3 or, i3, whatever they might call it, in the near future. I feel like they would tie well together, but the Inspire 2 is 4 years old now. I mean, it's due for a refresh anyway, but if they're coming out with a pro camera, I feel like the next step would be logically for the pro stuff would be Inspire 3. A year. The Air 2S was released 6 months ago. Oh, yeah. I mean, usually it's like a year till they release stuff. But now I'm starting to notice where like the lower, like the Pocket, the Action, well, not the Action. Okay, that's a bad analogy. I was going to say the more like the lower end stuff, like the Mini 2, those seem to be released every year. Whereas you get the higher end stuff like the Mavic 2 or the Mavic 3, certainly the Inspire series, like that's a longer release schedule, like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, something like that. And it makes sense from a manufacturing perspective. If you're releasing expensive products every year, you have to spend a lot of time in R&D and all that. People who are spending $10,000 on a drone or, $15,000 on a drone setup with the Inspire 2 with a higher end camera, you're not going to spend that every single year. You are only going to invest that much money in something like that once and then use it for 3 years, 2 years to pay it off and make money with it and then upgrade. Whereas the Mini 2, it's not inexpensive at a few $100s, but there are a lot more people who are going to buy a Mini 2 or a Mini 3. So it makes sense to upgrade those faster than the more expensive stuff. Darlene, yeah, it's quite similar. Yeah, so the difference is like when you're flying at night, you just have to find points that you can use as reference. And so even having a flashlight to where you can shine so you can find yourself to come back to, that really helps. It helps a lot. FYI. Do you believe the leaks in the Mavic 3 looks photoshopped to you? What do you, Metalobo, what do you mean, do I believe the leaks? I'm curious. I don't know if the leak with the like 4,600 for the pro level Cine version or whatever. I don't know if I believe that. I don't know. We'll see. Post color gear. Hey man. All you know is you saw me in a DD promo and you want to know if I can get my autograph. We can work out a deal. Just for you. Yeah, I was in the DD promo. And now I'm going to, and they were nice. They asked me if I was okay with it, for them to call me a seasoned videographer in one video and an old person in another video. I was like, oh man, you guys. So funny. Yeah, DD sent me that unit a couple of months ago. And I worked with them to get a lot of that promo footage for them. And they used a fair bit more than I thought. And they didn't use some of the stuff I thought they would use. But I like what they did with it. So, nice stuff. DroneWorks CT. What about the Autel Nano as it has optical avoidance? So, DroneWorks, that's the point. That's the only thing I think could make maybe DJI release the Mini 3 like this year around Christmas time, or the Christmas shopping season anyway, is because Autel released the Nano with optical avoidance, and I think that's maybe going to push DJI to like up the ante with theirs. On the other hand, Autel has to be able to actually deliver the Nano, and in the past, that's been their bottleneck, is they release this product and then nobody can get a hold of it, or very few people can get a hold of it. So The Walking Waffle, any do-it-all landscape photography lens advice? What camera do you use, The Walking Waffle? For me, I really like the 17 to 28 from Tamron for Sony. But if you use a different camera system, then I'm curious. So, yeah. Answer me that. I'll answer your question, and I'll probably wrap the stream up. Lon, see, there's the thing with the Inspire 2. The idea is interchangeable cameras, right? Zenmuse X7 is a Super 35 camera. What's wrong with the platform? Nothing's wrong with the platform. It's just dated. And so, like, when you fly one, you can tell, compared to, like, the newer Mavics that have been released in the last couple of years, it's way less stable. The transmission system is garbage as far as transmitting back to the remote compared to what's available now. So they just need to update that thing. Like the platform itself, I think would be great if they updated the stability and the transmission system. Other than that, like the Inspire is still super solid platform, performs really well. Maybe they could eke out a little more flight time, but like I don't think they have to go back to the drawing board. I think they just need to put new electronics in what they already have, basically. I'm sure they'll do something else, but yeah. If they improve the FPV camera, that would be amazing too, which they should be able to do. They've been putting out a sweet little FPV drone with a really good camera feed. Like, they do that. It'd be great. Thank you, DroneWorks. Adrian, yes, only one. I don't know what that was about. I hopefully answered. Flymore combo. Okay, yeah. Skywest Studios, the leaks about DJI Pro 3 look legit, especially flight times mind-blowing. I wish they didn't have the 500-meter height limit as they live next to mountains, and you can go legitimately under 120 meters AGL. Yeah, SkyWest, I agree. It's amazing how many places I go where I'm like, oh, I want to fly up right to that thing, you know, and you're within 150, 200 feet, 100 feet of the mountainside. You start flying up, and you really quickly run out of that 500 meters or 1,600 feet, like, goes like that, and then you look up and you realize you're nowhere close to where you need to be to look over something. It just happens to, yeah. And I think the Mavic 3, Pro 3, whatever it is, I think those the leaked photos, especially the recent ones, look pretty legit. I don't know how I feel about the skinny arms. Like, the arms look really skinny to me. They look like twigs, and I don't know how I feel about that. But also, like the spec sheets that have been leased say it's like just a little bit heavier than the Mavic Pro 2 or 2 Pro, whatever. And if that is the case, they had to cut weight somewhere because they clearly must have increased the battery somehow to get that much more flight time out of it. So, you know, cutting down body weight would be one of those areas you could cut weight and not necessarily lose any performance. I don't know. Darlene, you only need one light. Oh, yes, you only need one strobe and put it on the top, and you should be good. If you put it on the top, it's most visible to anybody else, including aircraft, which is good. And it won't necessarily mess with your photos or video that you try and take at night. So unless you're really close to something that it bounces off of. Oh, Adrian, you answered that. Thank you, Adrian. That's what I love about you guys. You all pitch in and help answer questions. It's awesome. Closing time. Good night. Good night, Alaska VFX. Hope you're doing well, man. Take care. It's basically all true. Yeah, I kind of feel like it is too. I'm very curious to see how that zoom camera performs. We'll see. Agree, SkyWest. The specs, what's been leaked, look incredible. I'm really, really excited for that drone. I think it's going to be an excellent drone for people that you don't want to jump into or invest in an Inspire system, but you want to get pretty dang close to that level of quality. I think the Mavic 3 is probably going to be there for it, without interchangeable lenses. I wish it would do that, but it'd be really hard in a platform the size of the Mavic. Walking Life, you're looking to get yourself a camera, Sony most likely, so basically want to know if it can recommend a particular lens. So the Walking Waffle, I assume you walk around? I don't know. Yeah, if you don't do anything in inclement weather, like the The ZV-1 is great for like a runaround lens. It's an all-in-one. It's a point and shoot. It does pretty well. Low light is where it starts to struggle. If you want something that works better in low light, you want a little bit better photos and stuff, then the Sony ZV-E10. Again, also not weather sealed, so you need to like know that ahead of time. If you need weather sealing, you need to look at the A6400 or A6600 if you want to stay in Sony's sort of thing. And if you want just one lens, the 17 to, well, no, not for that. Like for close stuff, if you're holding it and talking a lot, the 11 to 20 from Tamron is really good. Or the 17 to 70 from Tamron is also really good. If you need a less expensive version, but a whole lot of zoom range, then the Tamron 18 to 300 is a really good lens. So there you go. Siggy, as a solo creator, do I shoot a lot of in excess B-roll? It is hard to cut down the final video, even for a seasoned videographer. Thanks, Siggy. Thank you, Brian. Let's see. No, I always find that I don't shoot enough B-roll. That's always been my issue, is I don't shoot enough B-roll. And so part of it, it's hard to shoot yourself for B-roll. But also, I get engrossed in what I'm doing and I forget to shoot B-roll, and that's always been my issue, not having enough B-roll. Like, the arms look cool, ready for this thing. Looks like mid-November is the soonest it can be in hand. Yeah, probably. If they release it at the beginning of November, mid-November, realistically. And it's probably going to be hard to get a hold of. Like, I have a feeling the chip constraints and all that are going to make it hard to get it. Hopefully, they stockpiled a bunch and they're ready to, like, for the initial rush and the initial sellout, because I have a feeling like when the original Mavic Pro launched, they had a few 100,000 units they were ready to ship, and they got like 1.2 million orders or something like that. It was ridiculous. I happen to be one of the people that got one of those first 100,000 units, and so we'll see. A few more weeks. It's getting exciting. Brian Peterson, thank you. Thank you for the super chat and toward the expensive month. I appreciate that, man. Like I said, I'm going to have to sell some stuff. So if you want to buy anything, just hit me up on Twitter or, well, Twitter best, or Instagram if you need something and I have one. I'll make you a deal. Otherwise, I'll probably start posting some of my gear on Gear Source. Or, yeah, Gear Focus. Gear Focus. I like that marketplace a lot better than the Bay. Air 2S, or wait for the Pro 3. DroneWorks crashed your Phantom 4 Pro version 2 a couple weeks ago on the job. Should repair or pull the trigger and buy a Mavic Air 2. DroneWorks, I would, oh man, if you need something for a job now, I would get the Air 2S. But if you can wait, I think the Mavic 3 is going to be comparable or surpass the Phantom 4 Pro 2, I think. Or version 2, yeah. So if you can wait. But if you have to get something like now, because you've got drone work between now and, November sometime, then get the Air 2S. The Air 2S is excellent. It's good. It's not quite as sharp as the Phantom 4 Pro, but it's close. The Phantom 4 Pro had a really excellent sensor and camera in it, and lens combo. So yeah, that's what I would do. Or actually, honestly, like if you're thinking about, if you can find a used one for cheap that will last you, then I do that and wait and see what the Mavic 3 brings. I agree with SkyWest Studios. You're welcome, The Walking Life. I hope that helped. I feel like I gave you a lot of answer for a simple question, but I hope that helped you. Peter Julian, do you have bird strike problems in Alaska? You're out yesterday in Brisbane, and the magpies tried to smash your Mini. I haven't, but I do keep a very close eye, because anytime I fly in certain areas, like the coast area, seagulls go after drones quite a bit, and you got to keep an eye on it, and it's close. I keep a very close eye for eagles, because eagles will just take a drone out if they don't like it. So yeah, it can be very hard. And the problem, like the smaller the drone is, the more likely they are to attack it if they don't like it. So any bird. So yeah, put some eyeballs on there. The little like funky eyes, that move around. Put some of those on there. Apparently it really helps birds stay away. Yeah. Post color gear, you're making a list of things you may want to buy. Hit me up, dude. I'll make you some deals. The only issue is, well, no, actually I can ship. I can ship pretty much everything, anything I think that I've got. So, yeah. Auto using carbon fiber, interesting one, how much that messes with radio communications. I don't know, but it does mess with stuff because carbon fiber is a conductive material, so it will mess with RF and it will mess with electric signal. So, yeah, I'm curious to see that too. Lightweight battery charger, which would I suggest? Battery charger for what? Like a bank? A battery bank? Stalk your parrot and Avi. Reptilian research. Hummingbirds, man, those little things, they're kind of fearless. It's really wild watching those things rip around. It's amazing. A power bank. Oh, yeah. Let me know, Darlene, and then I'm going to wrap the stream up because I'm a few minutes over, and I know Paul Feinberg's also streaming about Sony stuff. Yeah. So I think those are all things I'm looking forward to. I'm very curious to see what the new MacBook Pro comes out in. Really, really excited to see the Mavic 3 and the Sony A7 IV. Like, come on. Okay, phone, bank to charge phones and drone batteries. So I really like the Aukey 26,800 milliamp. Yeah, I showed it in the Mini 2 video, and I think I also showed it as like my Skydio accessories, and I think I put it as my Mini 2 accessories in that video. Great power bank. I've been using it for a couple years, going strong, works at really cold temperatures, which is important for me. Charges lots of things because it has tons of power. I can charge like all of my Mini 2 batteries up, I think, like 1.5 times. So lots of flight time. Anyway, cool, Peter Julian. I will keep an eye open for that. All right, folks, that's going to do it for this stream. Thank you for being here. I'm so sorry I got stuck and I didn't make it back in time, and the stream started late, but I did make it, and you all made it, and I really appreciate you all being here and part of this channel. So there'll be videos coming between now and next week when I stream again, but otherwise I will be here same time, same place next week, Wednesday, to stream. Till then, stay safe, be smart, and I'll see you again soon in the next video. Cheers, everybody.